Hello and welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Strong Style here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by my partner for now, Aaron Turner. How are you, Aaron?
Better than you're going to be in a couple days. That's for
sure. Try 3 days.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this could be the last episode of Strong Style. I mean, we may explode. Who knows? Mega Powers could explode. If anybody in the chat, maybe Haskell, I feel like Haskell would be up to this job.
Sure.
Just keep me updated on the Ohio State and Oregon game. It's the fourth quarter. Just if you could throw in the chat when somebody scores, I would appreciate it because I was keeping a close eye on that one. But
yeah, wasn't it when I came on here, it's 21-14 has the score
28-14. Ducks.
Wow, the Ducks scored again.
Yes, they did. Yes.
I think that starting quarterback ain't as good as people think for Ohio State, man.
Dude, he's got over 300 yards passing. They only have 14 points. Like, what in the world?
Yeah, he can get you there. He just can't get you in there. That's certainly the difference there. Anyway, yeah, we're talking about so much here in the world of professional wrestling. All Out, AEW All Out, both the fallout and the rise of AEW after Fallout. Also going to talk some news with Mick Foley and Booker T both calling out the WWE as a result of some two people who've been in the WWE in and out over the last few years. So interesting to see them calling out the WWE. The report that Tessa Blanchard is considered nuclear at this point for the top federations, which is why she has been unsigned so far. Melissa Santos defending Brian Gage, and we're going to get into some of these comments from Jonathan Coachman, who's been real open about why he's not with the WWE anymore, and he blames Corey Graves. So real interesting comments we're going to get into as well. And of course, Aaron Turner and I are going at it Tuesday night on the FCL, or Tuesday afternoon on the FCL. Is it live? Is it live, Aaron, or is it a pre-tape? Well, what's the deal here?
Oh, it's live. We're live, pal.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure.
It's like the biggest moment in the history of the FCL, man.
That can't be right.
It is one of the biggest legends, if not the biggest legend in the history of the Schmodown. Me comes on to the FCL again 2 weeks in a row. So, I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, you're legendary for losing so many matches. That's for damn sure. So, all right. You're not
wrong about that.
But yeah, no, I can't possibly. So, yeah, I am deigning to come down to the FCL to fight.
What does that mean? Wait, what does that mean? Whoa, come down.
Come on, please. You know, it's the FCL's beneath me, and the Outlaws way above the FCL. But I'm coming down to have a little fun with some wrestling trivia. It's going to be both wrestling trivia historically in the world of professional wrestling, also wrestling trivia involved with wrestlers in film. So it'll be a film and pro wrestling trivia competition. I've seen some idiots online already, and this is why my time is running out. I just can't deal with these morons anymore saying, oh, Rocha's been demoted to the FCL. Fuck is wrong with you morons? I'm doing this as a fun little arc with my friend to promote Strong Style on another platform. So we're having a little fun, but people think I've been demoted. Like, what's wrong with your little petty nothing lives that you've got to create bullshit like this to make you feel better about yourselves? Maybe come find me. I'll smack you around and smack some sense into you. We'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to address that right off the bat. We also have the Streamlabs SuperChats open. If you want send in some support here with the show. Streamlab address right above Aaron's head. It's also in the description of this video. I'm about to pin it in the chat as well. And feel free to send SuperChats. YouTube does take 50% of you SuperChats, so we prefer the Streamlabs, but whatever you can do is always good to support the show. All right, Aaron, anything more to say on this before we start?
No, we can save more for later, I guess.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to open up with probably the biggest pay-per-view in the history of our great sport. Just kidding. It is All Out from last weekend, from last Sunday, Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And it was a hell of a show. I'm not going to front.
Yeah.
That we had some big appearances. We had Ruby Soho show up in the Casino Women's Battle Royal and win the damn thing. Mm-hmm. We had Daniel Bryan come out at the end, the Bryan Danielson, and probably the moment that I was like, man, and that was Adam Cole,
baby,
showing up on All Out and joining the Elite. And we can't. I don't want to let it go by with just those moments. I mean, we had a hell of a tag team cage match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers.
Yes,
I'll give them their just due on that one. Just amazing stuff going on. But I mean, a lot of things happened at All Out. Got the wrestling world talking. AEW definitely moved the needle, as they say. It's been a phrase in the past couple of weeks. So give me your thoughts on All Out. What do you think?
I had a great time watching this pay-per-view. A lot of good matches. And yeah, that opening match, the Paul Wight match, pretty much it went how we expected it to go. The great matches that we were expecting would be great matches were. The crap matches that we thought would be crap matches were. So in that way, AEW pretty much satisfied most of the predictions going on. I did call Ruby Soho coming back. I wasn't some kind of Nostradamus. A lot of people predicted they were coming back. And her winning was what the question was, would they let her win? And they did let her win. So it's setting up a fantastic match. I saw her on Dynamite, saw her, I think, on Rampage as well in the tag team match. She is so good, Aaron. It's just mind-blowing when you look at the difference between some of the female wrestlers in the AEW and Ruby Soho. She is miles above some of them, bro. No offense to, was it Jamie Hayter? No offense to Jamie Hayter, but she ain't got the technique, the style, or the timing that Ruby Soho does. And it showed in their one-on-one match. And that's unfortunate, but it's a young wrestler, British wrestler. I respect the fact she's in there. She's getting a shot. Hopefully she'll get better as it goes along. I like that. And I enjoy her being in it. So if anything else, she's going to up the game, hopefully, of these female professional wrestlers in that division themselves. Cole coming back was great. What a great surprise. I watched the fans live video in the stands on HD, which was beautiful, of the whole thing of Adam Cole coming back. Kenny Omega's promo saying they're already dead. Anybody who could ever beat him, which I thought was incredible. And then boom, Brian Danielson coming back and clearing house, and then seeing their promos afterwards. Danielson saying straight on, I want Kenny Omega. So really interesting to see him already aiming for the top dog in the company. And then of course the Lucha Bros finally winning. What a great match that was. And the Elite fought a hell of a match as well. So to me, the Young Bucks fought a hell of a match as well, representing the Elite. Overall, a great pay-per-view. A lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Oh, and also CM Punk had a hell of a match with Darby Allin that I really enjoyed. What did you think?
Can I be honest?
Yes. Stop checking your phone.
I'm not checking my phone.
I'm going to tell you the score.
I swear. CM Punk, if I can go there, I don't know if Darby was the right opponent for CM Punk, and I'll tell you why. Because CM Punk hasn't wrestled in 7 years. I think he'd be the first person to say that. He would never use it as an excuse, and I don't think that he should. But Darby was running like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I thought it was just too hard for CM Punk to like keep up. Yeah, almost like when CM Punk did stuff right, though, it was awesome, and it just felt like a guy that hadn't been in the ring for a while. Yeah. But I got to tell you, like when Darby went for the coffin drop and CM Punk just sat up, like that was awesome. That was awesome because it's like, how do you counter the coffin drop? It's like you just stand up. So that's what he did. So that was great. Right. And then he has to go to sleep. Darby falls out of the ring. We get a false finish. Like that's pretty cool. I mean, it did what it needed to do, but it did look like a guy that hadn't been in the ring for a long time. And that'll change. I mean, he's CM Punk. He's literally the best in the world, or one of the best in the world. So it left me a little disappointed, but I know it'll get better, so I'm not too down on it. Okay. I was talking about this with Brad Gilmore, and we were talking about how this pay-per-view had so many moments. But in terms of like great matches, though, like I don't know how many of these I will remember. Like the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers, of course. Yeah. What a great match. Like it was unreal. But like the rest of them, like Miro and Eddie Kingston, like it was fine. And then Britt and Chris Statlander, like it was fine. And all the other stuff was fine. The Kenny Omega and Christian match, I can't give you an honest assessment because I fell asleep halfway through. Not because they were boring. It's because it was like almost midnight, and I go to bed at 10 every night. So I was kind of getting a little late. But I thought that Kenny Omega doing his thing, like he actually cut a good promo for once. Like I'm not big on Kenny's promo ability. I think he gets a little breathy. But this was a good one. Like the only people that can beat me aren't here. They don't work here, or they're already dead. Yeah. So that was pretty good. I don't like that Brian Danielson like aligned himself with like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. I was like, fuck, like this, like, come on, we're better than this. Like, this is a different level here. And then like, I can't help but think also that when Adam Cole, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and probably eventually Bray Wyatt or whoever else they're going to bring in. When these people walk at the door, like I've said for weeks, your MJFs, your Adam Pages, your Darbys, your Daniel Garcias, your people that you really like, your Ricky Starks, they all are going to get pushed down a peg. And I think that's no more evident than Adam Page going from world title to Bryan Danielson is now world title. So, and that was, I mean, obviously that's going to happen because Bryan Danielson is a bigger name than Adam Page. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's the business.
And even MJF, who looks like he finally got away from Chris Jericho, is now in a feud with Brian Pillman Jr., which is not a knock on Brian either. It's just, it's not the same. He's not the same level as Chris Jericho. So that's what gives me pause about all this. Is like, this is great. Like, honestly, like I can say from Jet that I have not been a fan of AEW for the most part. Like, I'll watch it, I'll check in. The narratives are like whatever. Like, the wrestling is, some of it's like, I think we can all agree that sometimes AEW is like so amazing, like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. Right. And sometimes it's the shits. And so is WWE as well. But I feel like I'm just conditioned to like forgive WWE more than I am AEW. Okay. So when I'm watching this stuff now, I can't help but look at it like even closer with like a finer tooth comb. Like, okay, well, this is really interesting. What can we do with this? Right. Because I hate to say it, but you know how like we joke, like us wrestling fans will joke about like WWE, like, I guess I'm just going to have to tough through SmackDown this tonight. I'm going to have to tough through Raw to watch it. It's true. Like, it has become true to the point where it's really bad. Like, not good maybe. But AEW truly turned the world on its head. I think with Adam Cole coming over, that is the biggest star that they had in NXT. That was their NXT world champion for over a year. True. 4 years in NXT as a top guy. The dude they went up against on Wednesday nights. When AEW and NXT went head-to-head, when NXT went live, who was their world champion? It was Adam Cole. Right. Tony Khan said in an interview, which he could have just been BSing for the sake of it, but he said that the person on the NXT roster that he feared the most to compete with was Adam Cole because he's so good that you can't help but, you know, like, man, this guy, like, if we can only get him, and they did. Yeah. So I think it's such a coup that they got Adam Cole. To me, CM Punk, yes. Bryan Danielson, yes. Ruby Soho and Adam Cole, to me, is a bigger deal. Like, it's just a bigger deal for that mid to upper card that can really give them the most.
I think you make excellent points here. Yeah, you know, you're trading on the fame of Punk and Daniel Bryan, what they've accomplished in the WWE, right? You're trading in on that. You immediately give Punk like the top billing. You give him the main event at the pay-per-view in Chicago. Makes all kinds of sense in the world. Everything's cool there. And then, you know, you've got Daniel Bryan coming in. Yeah, you're right. You're aligning with guys that aren't necessarily on his level, not even Christian, to be honest with you. So you get into that situation. You got to fit him where you can fit him. It's going to put him up against the elite. I think other people are going to slide in there who are more of the level of Daniel Bryan. But hey, look, he was putting people over back in the tail end of his WWE days. So he's putting people over again now. And I think this is his choice, to be honest with you. I think they run it by him and he's like, yeah, I'll help the young guys get over. It's no big deal. Because Daniel remembers when he was a young guy that they wouldn't give him a shot. They wouldn't promote him. They didn't want to give him the belts. So he gets it. So for him, it's like giving back. Constantly giving back. So although I get your point, I think this might be a little more of him deciding. Remember, he said he wanted to come over so he could be more in control creatively of his character. So I doubt they'd put him or align him with people that he didn't want to be aligned with. So this works out for him in the long run. And if it's just a stable to be behind him as he goes after Omega, that's all positive for him, to be honest with you. But you're right. Ruby Soho and Adam Cole are the moves here because they're both in their prime. They're both young, hungry wrestlers who want to establish themselves even more in the lexicon of pro wrestling. So getting those young players to come play for your league or your division or your promotion is huge. It's huge. When Herschel Walker went to the USFL, it was huge. So when those things start to happen, they can change the perception of AEW. And we're going to get to that story later on with Foley and Booker T. But if those guys, if the legends are coming out, going after your league, then that's not a good thing for your league or your promotion. is that means that they're basically validating what the fans are saying online. They're validating what those message boards are saying, and that can be trouble for your promotion overall. It doesn't mean that in delivery. I thought SmackDown was fucking excellent this week with the Brock Lesnar stuff, with the Becky Lynch stuff. Really worked this week. I didn't like it the last 2 weeks. Really worked this week. So like they're still doing their thing, at least on SmackDown. Raw is a lost cause, but at least on SmackDown, they're still bringing it. So there's still competition here to aspire to hit. So getting young people like this in here. And if Owens comes over, that's a dude totally in the middle of his prime. If Strowman, oh no, not Strowman. I guess he's going to Impact. But
sorry, go ahead. Sorry. I'm bringing up something to talk about. I swear. Okay. Go ahead.
But those things are important, and in the end, that's what matters here. Is you get some good young people coming in. It's going to elevate the product overall and the attention.
Yeah. I wanted to piggyback off of SmackDown. Like Ariel Helwani, who's like covering wrestling now, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
He tweeted out that last night's WWE SmackDown at MSG produced the highest, grossest SmackDown gate of all time.
Right.
Per sources, not just in New York, of any city there's ever been a SmackDown. SmackDown has been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
So WWE's just fine.
Yeah, it is. If you believe what Ariel is saying, who of course admitted in that interview that he is homies with Khan. So, maybe he's being used a little bit as their kind of mouthpiece for his stuff to promote the WWE product. So when he starts crowing about AEW as equally as he crows about WWE, then I'll start believing his stuff. If not, then I just see him basically as an instrument for the WWE to use in a PR machine overall. Nothing against the man, but the allegiances are allegiances. So, but I hear you. But yeah, I mean, look, SmackDown is doing its thing. So that's still a more complete show. Watching Dynamite, watching Rampage, I don't get the same buzz that I do watching SmackDown. I just don't. They're not there yet, but they're getting there, and they're moving a lot quicker than people thought, I think.
Well, I don't know about that. I feel like the AEW crowds are so buzzy. Like it's hard not to watch it, honestly. Like I was watching the Adam Cole promo on Dynamite. I just wanted to see what Adam had to say, and it was just like the crowd ate it up.
Yeah,
because Adam Cole is the kind of guy that you want to see what he can do. Like NXT, right. He did have some good lines. Like he ripped Karrion Kross apart on the mic, and I'm just ready to see what Adam Cole can do with like maybe a less bit of structure. I don't know. I'm going to get to that more in a second, but Adam Cole yesterday, I was on his Twitch stream, and he was like, he had to walk away from the computer a couple of times because he was so emotional that people were like wishing him well and like saying how happy they were that he was in AEW, and he was just like overwhelmed with the gratitude.
Yeah.
And if you don't know Adam Cole, like outside of, I mean, not saying that I do, I've talked to the guy one time at a press junket, but the cameras weren't on, we weren't recording. And I was just bullshitting with Adam Cole because he seems like a cool dude, and he's like the nicest dude ever. And I'm not saying that because like I want to be his friend and I think he's great. Like he's really like the super nicest guy that there is. And like you can't help but be happy for Adam Cole. And I told you, like if Adam Cole goes to AEW, the dominoes start to fall. Yeah. So Adam Cole's going, Kevin Owens will go, Sami Zayn will go, Cesaro will go.
You think Cesaro will go?
Yeah, okay. You're going to start seeing these people going and going and going, and it's just going to get to the point where WWE is going to be filled with all this talent that they have, the unproven talent mostly that they have no idea what to do with, and it's going to be either sink or swim, and it's just not going to be the same. Like you can't go to their well of people in NXT and put them on billboards and people know who they are. Tommaso Ciampa, great wrestler, love Tommaso Ciampa. You put him on a billboard, the fuck is that guy? You know what I mean? It was this thing we talked about a couple of weeks ago about like people debuting. Like if Okada showed up in AEW, people in AEW will know exactly who Okada is. He walks out the door, nobody on the street knows who that is.
Right.
You put Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson comes to AEW, everybody knows who he is. He walks out the door, people say, "Hey, that's that guy, that Daniel Bryan guy from WWE." So AEW has put themselves in such a position where they have got the best of the best. Like I think someone in the chat said it's like a booker's dream. It's like playing fantasy, like playing fantasy sports, dude. Like it's just the best of the best. Like what piece can we move here? Okay, let's move Adam Cole versus I don't know, Christian. That sounds like fun. Let's move CM Punk versus MJF. Great, love it. Let's put Adam Page up against this Wardlow fella. That seems like a good time. Yeah. Like, it's just, it's wild where we are in wrestling right now. Like, a couple weeks ago, like I would have said, AEW, no threat, no big deal to the evil empire of WWE.
You did.
Wrong. So wrong. So wrong. And I'm glad that I'm wrong because as we'll talk about with Mick Foley, like this will only, if WWE, like in the Monday Night Wars, like WCW made WWE better. Will this make WWE better? I hope so. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. It's, you know, that's the thing at the end of the day is you're like, you're wondering, will it be enough? Will they really enjoy it? Will people put it on, will it put it over top? Will people who are watching the WWE religiously, will they start to turn in larger numbers? I've seen some people say, oh yeah, you know, I hadn't watched in years and AEW got me to watch again. Great. But are you going to stay watching it? And are there going to be enough people that are going to be like you who are WWE hardened fans and start to look at AEW? Because remember at the Monday Night Wars, as you mentioned, people were switching back and forth on the same night between the two programs to try to catch the highlights of the night. I used to videotape one and watch the other and then watch the videotaped one after the live one was done of whichever one I'd chosen to watch that night. So that's the game that I was in the 90s. So I imagine people nowadays they can do the exact same thing on their DVRs or whatever and do that. And so there's where it's going to be like, are you building enough people? Are you getting enough? Are we seeing the numbers? But the product has got to come up, Aaron. And I think the other side of the product coming up is they're going to have to cut some people. I think this is a real truth here. They're going to have to cut some of the dead weight, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but some of the weight that's not getting over with the fans, that's not putting on good matches, some of the older dinosaurs who aren't putting on good matches, they're going to have to ask them to quietly move aside. That's, if you're a businessman, that's the game. You've got to make the cuts. We got to make the cuts because success is what matters. Feelings you can repair. Success sometimes can elude you if you don't make critical decisions in critical moments that cause your company to be elevated, to go to the next level. And I think Tony Khan's got to make those decisions here coming up very, very soon. Honestly, I think that's what they got to do. Who are the best here? Let's put them on, because eventually the fans are going to be like, yeah, it's cool. I can watch it later, or I'll watch the I'll watch it on YouTube, the highlights tomorrow. That's not going to give you the same audience. So you've got to be able to make it event viewing. And so hopefully the product is going to be elevated. And you know who we haven't even mentioned 25 minutes into the show? Cody Rhodes. That's his company, and we haven't even mentioned him, Aaron. So Cody Rhodes does not have a place in this company anymore right now. With the talent they have right now.
Coming back Wednesday.
Yeah, he doesn't have a place. With the talent they have right now, Cody's got no business coming back, in my opinion. Stay in the background. Let them all make the money for you. Sit back and collect that money. You laid the groundwork. Now let these way more popular, way more known names come in and make their money, and you sit back and enjoy the fucking cash that's rolling in and help this thing go to the next level. You know,
easy now. Easy now.
I'm just telling you.
We still need Cody. I
don't think so. Go ahead.
I think we still need Cody. He's
Who
coming
are you
back.
Going to put him up against? Malachi Black?
That's Wednesday. That's the match. Yeah.
And then what?
Move him into a feud with somebody else. They got a fucking billion people on that roster.
Yeah, it's not going to matter, dude. If you're Cody, you've been headlining a lot of these pay-per-views, and now all of a sudden you come in, you're not the top draw anymore. You're not. It's Punk. It's Bryan Danielson. It's fucking Adam Cole. And eventually, hopefully, Ruby Soho and Britt Baker. That's your main events, not Cody and anyone else who he's fighting right now. It just isn't. I don't. Be mad at me all you want. I'm telling you how
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. It's just to say that Cody Rhodes doesn't have a place in AEW. I think that's ludicrous. It's ridiculous. He's an EVP. He doesn't own the thing. He's part vice president, and EVPs can change. EVPs can go. So
I'm sure he's got a percentage of the company. I'd be
maybe
shocked if he didn't get a percentage of the company. For God's sake, sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. Draws Walker just brought it up. I was going to bring this up. I saw a tweet that had like the last 7 weeks of Toni Storm. Remember Toni Storm?
Oh yeah.
We're so excited for her to come to SmackDown.
Yeah, I saw.
And it was week 1. She beats Zelina Vega in 2 minutes. And then week 2, nothing. Week 3, nothing. Week 4, nothing. Week 5, she was in a backstage segment with Dolph Ziggler. Week 6, she was supposed to be in a match this Friday on SmackDown that got cut. So great job, everybody. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
And I know I think Murderanta said in the chat that AEW, or not AEW, but NXT and WWE, both women's rosters are better than AEW. Yeah, I agree with that. But if you don't use them properly, it means nothing. So please throw the women's tag team titles in the trash. Yeah, there you go. Week 8. Right, sorry, it was 8 weeks.
Yeah, 8 weeks. That's even worse. No appearance at all backstage. So yeah, no appearance. Yeah, this is such a waste of a phenomenal performer. And of course, she signed the contract, so she's probably there for a while. And it's a shame she's going to get wasted there if they don't eventually use her in some way. But where can she go? You know what I'm saying? Where can she go at this point?
It's just, God, I don't get it. And where's Sasha?
Doing a lot of stretching exercises on her Instagram. I saw.
Don't give a rat's ass. Where's Sasha, and why was she not there? Like, why was she not at SummerSlam? Anybody ever going to explain that, or are we just going to pretend like it didn't happen?
I feel like, I
mean, we really know why she wasn't there. But seriously, explain it in kayfabe. Seriously.
I agree.
All right, moving on. Sorry.
No worries. Zach Woodley says, how do you feel about my over-the-top promo? Me over-the-top promos? Some people say he went over the line, he being MJF. I don't know what that means. How do you feel? Maybe he's trying to say, how do you feel about MJF's over-the-top promo? Some people say he went over the line. He's just being MJF. Did you think he went over the line in any of his promos? I
thought it was kind of funny that he literally sent Brian Pillman Jr.'s sister into labor. Like, that legit happened. It's pretty funny. I think MJF just needs to get back to doing that. If he needs to take it to another level, as long as he's not being, racist or ridiculous or condescending to a point where you're really going to offend people, it's fine, because MJF needs that edge back. Like, I swear, Chris Jericho, for as good as Chris Jericho is and one of the great all-time performers, he really sanded down the edge of MJF. Like, MJF was really killing it. And now it's like, we just need him to get back to where he was.
Yeah.
To kill people on the mic, to be great in the ring. And I don't know if the Pinnacle is still a thing. Maybe someone can help me with this. But it's like, the Pinnacle was this group they brought in. They made Shawn Spears and Wardlow and FTR and MJF. They're all, we're the Pinnacle. We're going against the Inner Circle. Now you never hear of them anymore. Like, FTR and Shawn Spears doing their own thing. It's just, it pisses me off. But let's get, MJF needs his edge back. And if this is the way we do it, fine, we'll take it.
Yeah, fair point. RP Skywalker says, with all these new AEW signings, does this make you a bigger fan of AEW? Do you think the AEW has a better women's roster now? Not a better one. No, I wouldn't say that. Would you say that?
I don't know if it makes me a bigger fan of AEW. I think it makes me want to turn more to AEW. Turn the channel more to AEW, maybe see more of what they've got going on. I always check in, like, whether it's AEW or Impact or Ring of Honor, I check in with it. Like, I don't. But now AEW is making me want to actually turn my channel on, like turn my TV on to the channel and watch it live.
Right.
That's a lot. Like, I know, like, it's kind of funny that we sit here, we talk about wrestling every single week, but I mean, I rarely watch it live when it's on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I catch it later. But AEW Dynamite and Rampage, I've tried to catch live because it's like, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Like, you have to be up with it. So that's the big change for me as a fan. Do I think that AEW has a better women's roster? No. I think they have Britt Baker and they have Ruby Soho, which is great. And they have a couple other folks, like Thunder Rosa's great.
Yes.
And they have
I like Statlander.
Yeah, she's good when she's on. She's good.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just a class below the rest.
Yeah, man. Watching
just doesn't feel the same.
Watching Rebel and Hater wrestle around Soho and Britt Baker, you're just like, yeah, man, this is really obvious the difference in talent, the difference in technique. I mean, if you're doing the little mini steps and the big over, it's just so obvious that you don't have the actual timing to sell things. You don't. And this is why you don't get to the next level, because you're telegraphing your moves so fucking obviously to any fan over 15 years old who can look at that and analyze it. So to me, that's an unfortunate situation. You see in WWE sometimes too. So it's just like Eva Marie, my God, the biggest purveyor of that stuff. So you just kind of hope that they bring in other women who are going to be able to elevate the situation. Who's the one who's former champion who was fighting in the 6-woman tag? I forget her name right off the bat. The
Riho.
Yeah, Riho. She can wrestle like crazy. So you got to get to that level, yo. So anyway,
let me put this question to you, because we didn't really talk about it that much.
Sure.
Paul Wight, aka the Big Show.
Yeah.
Never again. I don't want to see it ever again.
It was like watching Goldberg against Undertaker, man.
It's worse than that.
All right, fair.
Dude, it was so terrible. Like it never needed to happen, and I don't want to see it ever again. I don't want to see him in the ring ever again.
Yeah,
Stop
it's done. Mark Henry's got the right idea. I'm going to sit back on the mic, hang out, and call some matches. And you know, Mark is fine on the mic. I actually don't mind Mark on the mic. I think he's getting better with more exposure and more time. I think he's better than Jericho right now. I'll tell you that right now. But I think
on the mic, sure.
On the mic, yeah. I don't think he should be on. I don't think Big Show should be wrestling at all. He's clearly way too slow. His size has finally gotten to him, and his mind's not in the moment, dude. You can tell that man he wanted that Netflix show to work. He wants to do other things. He's a naturally very funny, talented guy. You've just got to find the right thing for this guy other than pro wrestling. And hopefully at some point, something will come through for him, because I don't think he's 100% there. I think he's doing it because this is his job. It pays him. He does well at it. But I think in the end, his heart and his mind are not 100% there. And you could tell in that match, dude, he just was trying to get through it. And it was rough to watch, brother. Rough to watch.
Sounds like his entire WWE run just wasn't there mentally. Like, honestly, I'm not even trying to be like funny about it. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, if Paul Wight, the Big Show, would have taken it seriously from day one when he went from WCW to WWE, which I think in the beginning he did.
Right.
But there came a point where he didn't. He stopped taking it seriously. He stopped being the Big Show.
Yeah.
And he stopped being a giant and just like rested on his laurels. He could have been the biggest superstar in the entire business.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. And like I said, like a month ago, I think Braun Strowman in the short time that he had in WWE had a better run than the Big Show's entire run in the WWE. So I don't get this guy. Like, you could have been something massive. Like, just stay backstage. We don't need you. I don't think anybody wanted it. Like, it was a piss break match. Like, it's just not for me. Not for me.
Fair enough. Chris Taylor sent in a Streamlab, brother. He said, I'm excited. This Wednesday, I'm going to Newark to watch Dynamite. I hope it will be a great show. Awesome, Chris. Congratulations.
Awesome. Dale Staten, one of our watchers, viewers, and a Twitter follower of mine, said he went to Dynamite this past week in not Columbus, but Cincinnati. So
did he have a good time? Did he like
Yes, he did. All of our listeners are out there going to Dynamite and getting out for live wrestling.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's get back to some normalcy.
If you watch this show and you like this show and you're a fan of the show, if you go to these live events, cut a mini video. Mention our show and I will retweet it. Tweet at us and I will retweet it and give you some love. So do that. Maybe you'll pick up a couple of followers or whatever. So if you go to these shows, say something, shout out to me and Aaron. Hell, take a sign and take a picture of you holding the sign saying you watched the Strong Style show. Anything like that would be most appreciative. Kind of give more attention for the show overall. Roberto Arsenal says, with the Dark Order and chaos, does that mean Bray Wyatt will come out in New York City? Andrade versus Pac was good last night. I agree. That was a damn good match last night. SmackDown was good last night as well, but WWE dropped the ball not letting Zelina Vega wrestle in her hometown a day before 9/11. Yeah, and Zelina tweeted about, I don't know if she's tweeting about 9/11 or tweeting about not being able to wrestle the day before the day before 9/11, but she put some interesting tweets out saying, thanks for the support, everybody. Thanks for the love. I hear you. I was a bit emotional myself. Thanks for being there with me on social media. So does that imply that maybe she was really hurt that she wasn't able to wrestle in the 20th anniversary or right before the 20th anniversary 9/11? Because as everybody knows, she lost her father in the tower. So would that is that a another black mark on the WWE?
I'm going to put it to you like this.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people say that it was tone deaf. I've seen a lot of that. Sean Ross Sapp said it was tone deaf.
On Fightful, yeah.
Listen, man, like, it's awful. Like, I'm sorry that happened. Yeah. Sorry that happened to her father. But I'm here to tell you, if they're going to cut a match because of TV time, what do you cut? Like, do you cut Brock Lesnar? No. Do you cut Roman Reigns? No. Do you cut Finn Balor? No. Do you cut Seth Rollins versus Edge? No. The cut has to come somewhere.
Right.
And unfortunately, you're not going to cut the Becky and Bianca segment.
Nope.
So you have to cut something. Unfortunately, that's the business. That's card subject to change.
Yeah.
So I do feel bad that happened for her. I don't think it was a personal attack that WWE was like, nuh-uh. I don't think that was going to happen, or I don't think that was part of it. So that's just unfortunate is what that is. Hopefully, I don't know if they did the dark match afterwards. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did. Someone could maybe enlighten me to that. But I don't think it was personal.
Apparently, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, and others were in dark matches afterwards.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. So, they could have at least let her go out there afterwards. Like, that's kind of some bullshit. But I don't think it was like a malicious thing where they just did that on purpose. You have to make the cut somewhere. There were 3 other people in that match too, not just Zelina and Vega. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just unfortunate. That's all.
All I'm saying. Yeah. Charlotte Flair had a dark match as well, and then Drew McIntyre and Corbin went at it. Yeah. So those were the dark matches that were happening last night. But yeah, I mean, but also, Aaron, I hear your point, right? I should take this down. Sorry about that.
Stop yelling at me.
Yeah, let me take this down. I hear what you're saying, but I also think you've got to be conscientious of things. For example, if you've got a match in your league that is billed as an LGBTQ match, and you don't ask one of your current players who is gay to be a part of the match, not even reach out to them, that's a hell of a misstep. All right? That's a big mistake. Whatever your personal biases may be, that's a massive mistake by the company. Same situation here, if you know someone, the only person on the roster possibly who lost a parent in 9/11, I think her dad was a firefighter, if I'm not incorrect here, even more of a loss because that person was a hero, you've got to be more aware of this. You've got to be more forward thinking on this. And yeah, maybe you don't cut the match, or maybe it's a cut match, but you do it as a dark match. So at least she's doing it in front of her people. She's doing it and the crowd can go crazy. That's the go home match, is the Zelina Vega match. That's your go home match. Do you really want to see Drew McIntyre and Baron fucking Corbin again? Hell no. Let Zelina get in there, have a hell of a match, all breaks off, let her do her thing, and get the victory. That's how you do it. So to me, I hear what you're saying, that maybe it wasn't intentional, but you've got to fucking be aware of the situation. You've got to be a little more forward thinking. But this is also the attitude that they have. You are in service of me. You are in service of this company. We do not have to cater to you at all unless you're fucking John Cena. And I'm so sick of that nonsense, and I see it everywhere, that we don't have to cater to certain people because they don't fit in certain places, or you guys are in service of us. You owe us. Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. It's an equal partnership, and there has to be respect delivered from both sides of the partnership. So to me, that's a massive mistake overall by the WWE. But also, you've got, a pattern here that's developed over many, many years recently. And so just a massive mistake. And we don't know that Triple H was like, hey, her dad died, we got to do this. Or somebody in management said that. And Vince was like, who cares? Or Laurinaitis is not a big deal. I don't know.
Well, we know Triple H wasn't there. We wish Triple H a speedy recovery after his cardiac event.
Yes, my God.
Yeah. I didn't want to bring it up because, a lot of people were making jokes, and I don't think our listeners would, but it was just like a lot of jokes about Triple H, like, oh my God, Vince McMahon killed him, with getting rid of NXT. So I mean, it was a genetic thing. I hope he's okay. I hope he's feeling better. So best wishes to Trips.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we got another one here from let's see here, Chris Rigby, who says, All Out was one of the strongest pay-per-views I've seen in a long time. What are your thoughts on the use of licensed music? I'm a massive fan of wrestling themes, but hearing the Pixies, Rancid, or Living Color just hits differently. Is that in a positive way, Rigby, or that is in a negative way? I'm assuming you mean in a positive way. So,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So what do you think about them using licensed music?
I love it, and I'll tell you why. Why I love it, because when you watch WWE and you hear Seth Rollins, like if Seth Rollins' theme song hits, you exactly know who that is. You know who's coming out. Roman's song hits, you know exactly who that is. You know exactly who that is coming out. The Rock, glass shatters. You know that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. If you smell all that. In AEW, we don't have the sound recognition with the names just yet. A few, like Cody, I think you could recognize Cody's song hitting, and maybe Britt Baker's song. But like, I think if I were to and maybe the Young Bucks, but if I were to listen to like an AEW theme, it takes me a minute to oh, okay, yeah, it's Kenny Omega. I think when you put a song like that, like the Wild Thing, or was it Wild Thing? What am I thinking? Wild Thing? With Moxley, with Moxley. I think it gives recognition to who that is. So when it hits, you exactly know who that is. Right. When Ruby Soho by Rancid plays, you know exactly that it's Ruby Soho. Right. CM Punk. Daniel Bryan had the Fight of the Valkyries for a minute, and then it rolls into a different song, which was great recognizability. Adam Cole's song, though not recognizable, you know that it's Adam Cole because it sounds kind of like an Adam Cole song. I get that. It's all about the boom. That must be Adam Cole, and it says Adam Cole in it. So that's cool, and I like that part of it. And Jungle Boy as well, the Jungle Boy song, it's great. People can sing along with it. As long as you get that recognition, that helps out so much. It helps me out a lot for sure.
Yeah, look at Ronda. Ronda coming out to Bad Reputation. That was a brilliant decision because that song immediately gets people going. Immediately. And in Living Color really works. But let's go back to NWO. When Hogan came out to that Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Child, that put him on a whole nother level yet again. I mean, the NWO music was already great because they sampled Jimi Hendrix licks. So it was already great. Then you went next level. They actually took a full Jimi Hendrix song that isn't one of his most mainstream popular songs, and you made it popular by attaching it to Hogan. Whenever I listen to that song now, I can't help but think of Hogan all the time. So it's got to work for that wrestler. It's got to really be emblematic of that wrestler. It can't have a long build-in. Most of I would say almost all the time, it can't have a long build-in. As soon as you hear the chords, you got to know who it is. That's the key. And not everyone has distinct music. So if you use the licensed music in a right way, I think it's fine. And I don't know why people would have an issue with it, to be honest with you.
Hey, do you know who was the first wrestler to use not licensed music, but use music as a theme? Do you know who the first person was?
No, I don't. Who?
You should probably study. Sergeant Slaughter. It was Sergeant Slaughter who used the Marine Corps hymn. Was the first person to use music as an entrance. So
okay. All right, there you go.
Study up.
Sergeant Slaughter. I didn't see that on the categories. Did you? Yeah, I'm not going to waste my time.
80s wrestlers is on the wheel, pal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Did you watch the Pac versus Idolo match last night? Yeah, we talked about it. Any thoughts on it? We just gave a brief that we liked it. What else did you enjoy about it, Aaron?
Pac, make your decision. I said it last week. Make your decision. Yeah. Are you coming to America or are you not? Are you committed to AEW or are you not? He's so good.
Yeah, he is.
They're both so good. And it pains me that Andrade El Idolo has kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And then you see Pac and you're like, and then you see Pac and you're like, God, why is this guy not on TV every week? It was weird, wasn't it? Wasn't it weird, Aaron?
It was weird because it looked like Chavo helped him. Well, Chavo didn't help him, but it looked like he was going to be lined up with Chavo and the Lucha Bros. Then he punches Chavo on the way up the ring, and then the Lucha Bros turn on Chavo, and then Chavo gets mauled by Pac. So what the fuck? It seemed really strange. I thought they were setting up, in essence, another version of the LWO, and now it looks like everyone's a free agent all of a sudden, all over again.
It's weird. I don't.
Yeah,
it's odd.
AEW, don't fuck this up. I will call you out hardcore on this show if you fuck up Latino wrestling. If you fuck up the Latino stuff. A lot of your main people are white now, but we got to start moving in some color. AEW, you got to start putting in some color in these positions, and so you've got to start respecting what you've brought over. Miro counts, Idolo counts. There's a number of people on your roster that count. They've got to get up into those positions. So just putting it out there. I have no fucking problem giving you love and calling you out at the same time when it comes to that. Javier Reyes 405 says, Big Show booking in WWE didn't help. It wasn't all on him. How many face turns and heel turns can you do before it gets ridiculous? Yeah. Talking about the Big Show. What do you think about that, Aaron? Do you think it was just, they just kept messing with him and didn't let people settle on one way to look at this guy?
Listen, man, booking didn't make Big Show overweight and have to go to OVW to trim weight when they had to eventually fine him for coming in overweight for his own well-being. And it happened constantly. So there's no booking that can fix that. I hear what you're saying with the faces and heel turns. It doesn't do him any favors. But by that point, when they were doing the faces and heel stuff, he wasn't really a top, like, it wasn't a top draw at that time. Like they would use him on occasion, but he was never a consistent top draw.
No,
when he was done being ECW champion, when they revamped ECW, that was it for him. That was it.
Yeah. Well, fair point. Saka to me says, is there a wrestling autobiography you guys really enjoy? Bret Hart's was the first that genuinely impressed me with how massive and packed it was.
I'm a big fan of wrestling autobiographies. Biographies. You can see the Bret Hart one is actually up there on my shelf.
Is it concussed? Yeah, go ahead.
Wow. He had a stroke. Thanks a lot. I want Ric Flair to be the man is great.
Yeah,
is a great one. Mick Foley's books are great. Chris Jericho's second book is really good. Yeah. And then they went for that period where it was just like a bunch of, like, they did like all the wrestlers that they had, like Lita, and like, I'm not saying she doesn't have an interesting story, but it's like, really. But The Rock says, great one. It's a great one. Like, it's dated, of course. It was made in like 2001, so it's quite dated at this point.
Right.
But it's good to get that early stuff. So yeah, I'd probably go with Ric Flair as the top one because it's so interesting. I've been reading a lot of histories of wrestling lately. I have the history of the 10 pounds of gold, the NWA heavyweight championship. I've been reading about that.
Nice.
I have the history of Stampede Wrestling on the way. So I'm going to check that out. But I've been more into that lately than specific wrestler biographies.
Okay. I would say, where's the Glow one? I think is fantastic. If you haven't watched the Glow documentary on Netflix, I would highly recommend that. The Andre the Giant one that did on HBO, I thought was really good. I thought the Bret Hart Wrestling with Shadows was really good. If you haven't seen that one, I really enjoyed that documentary. And let me throw this out there for people who might be, I want to say this in a way that isn't disrespectful, but I thought the Chris Benoit two-parter for Dark Side of the Ring was next level incredible. So as far as wrestling biographies go, I thought that was stellar overall. So, and let me tell you guys, Vice right now, I told Aaron this, I texted him this, Vice right now has a 45-minute conversation between Chris Jericho and the two guys who are the creators of Dark Side of the Ring, teasing what is coming up on the second half of the season, but they also reflect back on the first half of the season and have some extra clips from almost every show and extra stories from almost every episode we've seen for the first half of this season, and show some clips for the stuff coming up in the second half. So if you've got 45 minutes in your day today or tomorrow, I would recommend you go and take a look at that one and enjoy it. So just throwing it out there, because we're talking about wrestling documentaries or biographies. So, all right. I think that's all of it, except for Javier Reyes telling us we're having a great show. Thank you, Javier. Lo aprecio mucho, hombre. Efron Guzman is here. He says, good afternoon, guys. Love Wrestling Talk. Question, are you guys fans of Conrad Thompson content, and do you listen to the Kurt Angle podcast? Go ahead, Aaron.
Big fan of Conrad. I find nothing wrong with what Conrad does. I will tell you this, like, he has so much content to consume, it's hard for me to even do anymore.
Okay.
So I tend to listen to Something to Wrestle, and for a good laugh, I listen to Tony Schiavone's podcast, WHW, because Tony's hysterical.
Okay.
And them together is awesome. I'm actually going to become a patron of ad-free shows so you can get them ad-free because, man, there's a lot of ads, but rightfully so. They do a great job.
Right.
I have not listened to the Kurt Angle show. I'm going to a wedding in Illinois here in a month or so, and I'm just going to get caught up on a bunch of crap because it's going to be a long road trip. So
nice.
I'm excited for that. But no, I haven't caught the Kurt Angle show. I'm sure it's excellent.
That's a 2-day drive, isn't it? Going from Florida.
Well, it's like I'll be on a plane, but I'm also going to West Virginia, so it's like 12 hours. But
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. We drove to Chicago for the World Cup from DC. That was like an 18-hour drive, man. It was insane.
Hell with that.
All right. The Last Cinema Sailor says Cody will come with another neck tattoo to shake things up. Rocha, is it true 2 of your favorites are Adam Bomb and the Renegade Warrior? Adam Cole is truly a great guy. Hopefully he can appear in Up, Up, Down, Down sometime in the future. Hashtag if Turner wins, we riot. Absolutely. Yeah, if Turner wins, we riot.
That backfired. That was so weird. It was like it completely backfires. He's burying you and then end up burying me in the end.
That's the best burials I like.
Sure, buddy. Whatever you say.
All right, so let's move. We got over 100 you all watching us live right now. Thank you very much. Please hit that like button as you're watching us if you haven't hit that like button yet, because I think we only have like 40-something likes. Come on, y'all. Get us 26 likes. Come on, guys. If you're watching right now, hit that thumbs up button. Get us above at least 50 likes as we march towards 100 by the end of the show. Damn, this first block has taken 53 minutes here, Aaron. Jesus Christ. So what are we off to? Do you want to touch on the Adam Cole segment too about the supposed plan?
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. We'll get to the second story. We'll get to the second story eventually. Yeah. So there was talk that came out this week. Dave Meltzer put this out that one of the many plans that WWE had for Adam Cole was to be a manager of a heel Keith Lee.
Wow.
In like a they said likened it to Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley a few years ago, like how that was going to go. My initial thoughts are, wow.
Yeah.
They really didn't know what they had in Adam Cole. Because Adam Cole to me is the second coming of Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And how dare you make Shawn Michaels a manager? You would never have done that.
Yeah.
And why would you do that? It seems like Keith Lee is fine on his own, and Adam Cole would have been way fine on his own. So I don't understand this. Like, it's probably one of many ideas, and they just picked one to be like the shittiest idea to report on. But yeah, that's awful. I don't like that at all.
Well, and listen, Adam Cole has taken he's taken the high road. He's very much, he said, we had a great final conversation with Vince. He said, I had a very excellent 4-year experience in the WWE, but I wanted to come back and work with a crew who I love being around 24/7, a crew that is just as passionate about pro wrestling as I am, and fans that feel the exact same way that we do. So making the decision was a fairly easy one for him. So no matter what they were trying to put him into, which essentially a lot of people compared to the Leo Rush, Bobby Lashley thing, in the long run, he did what was best for him, and you should always do what's best for you in a situation like this. Making him a manager, to me, has echoes of what they try to do with Daniel Bryan. He's getting too big. He's a small guy. I don't like him. Bury him. And it ended up being they couldn't do it because the fans wouldn't let them do it. So in this situation, I think Adam Cole himself got out of the situation. Like, manager. All right. Thank you. I've had a really great time here. My wife or my girlfriend over there, she's having a great time. I've been over there a few times. I think that's the move for me now. And so nothing wrong with that, I think, in the long run, Aaron. I think he did what was best for him, and nothing says he can't come back to the WWE down the road. He's young. Some of the people in charge are old. They may retire or pass away. So maybe a new crop of executives, a new crop of talent people and creatives will understand what they have with Adam Cole and lure him back and give him an incredible run where he can become the second coming of Shawn Michaels there for the WWE. It's possible.
Looks like he's going to become the second coming of Shawn Michaels for another company right now.
So. Fair point. That company's got a while to go, though, or a little bit to go. All right, let me see. I don't think we've got any more Streamlabs. Oh, no. Christian Ramos said, hey, guys, I saw on Twitter that Stallion Rogers and Anthony Green from 205 Live are both at AEW Dark at Universal Studios. Is this setting up a cruiserweight division for AEW or just Tony Khan giving these guys work until they get signed elsewhere?
I think it's just Tony Khan giving them a shot. The Universal Studio stuff could be interesting. I'm excited to see how I can go to that because it's very close to me. I would really like to go to that, Tony. Since we're both all elite now, John Rocha and I have joined.
Yes.
I figured Tony would send me some tickets, but yeah, he's probably just giving them a shot just to see what they have. They do this all the time. It's nothing new.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our second show. And ladies and gentlemen, we only have like $20-something. What's going on here? Are you not enjoying the show? We got over 100 of you watching right now. You're not sending in Streamlabs. Come on, send them in. Give us some love. We're in the back half of the show, so you've got about 30 to 45 minutes to send him some love to us over the Streamlabs address. It's right above Aaron's head. It's pinned in the chat. It's also in the description of this video, so send in some support if you're enjoying the conversations we're having here on the channel and on the show. And down the road on this show, we're going to have a little banter, a little back and forth between the Outlaw and whatever nickname Aaron is using in the FCL. We'll have a little banter about that. All right, Go ahead, Aaron. What's our next
Jeez. Okay.
You want to step in the ring, you son of a bitch. Good.
God, okay. There's a report floating around from bodyslam.net. It is worth noting that bodyslam.net did break the Daniel Bryan story going to AEW. So reputable source here saying that Tessa Blanchard is considered nuclear.
Wow. In
the AEW and WWE locker rooms, and that nobody wants to sign her.
That's shocking.
And the report goes on to say the only major American company that has been in talks with her since leaving Impact was the NWA.
Wow.
Worth noting that they just had an Empower pay-per-view, and she wasn't part of it. Tessa's contract was terminated by Impact Wrestling on June 25th, 2020, when she would not fulfill her obligations as their world champion.
Yeah.
And hasn't wrestled in the States since. So what do you think the future holds for Tessa Blanchard, if anything?
It's so funny because you would say, okay, she made these comments. Quite a lot of people have, and I'm sure the stories that come out are just the tip of the iceberg, Aaron. There's no way it's just one or two stories. With something like this, it's a pattern. So it seems to me maybe there's more here that people know behind the scenes that aren't talking about it on the or leaking it to these websites to be reported on, and they know a lot about her behavior. And so, there was a lot of racism talk, a lot of her keeping other wrestlers down, the female wrestlers down, while putting an image out that she's like really supportive and all this kind of. So she got called out and got exposed. And so she's disappeared with her husband doing her thing, blah, blah, blah. And now that the moment comes, well, do they want her back? Well, if she's nuclear, if they feel like she's nuclear, I feel like that means they've done some research here and seen that there's more that could come out. There's more that could damage their brand if they were to give her a platform or give her a slot. So I think that's what they're doing right now. But I also find it to be a bit hypocritical and ironic considering the history of pro wrestling. Even currently, some of the comments, we're talking about Sasha Banks. There's certainly a lot of controversy around her and the vaccination situation. So we're seeing some of these comments, and we've seen some of the racism. We've seen, WWE's basically had that hung on them for quite some time. So it's not like the stuff that happened with Sasha, Bianca Belair with Becky Lynch. That was a huge optics fuck up by the WWE. So to me, I see that there's something more here, and I find it to be hypocritical, though, that these federations all of a sudden have found Jesus or found the church and are not going to hire her because of some of these comments or because of some of the actions that she's taken behind the scenes. So it's an interesting situation. I think, wrestling fans, Red State wrestling fans, I feel like wouldn't give a crap overall. You'd eventually win them over. So why do you think this is happening?
It's a real shame that Tessa Blanchard can't get signed to any company because of her own actions.
Yeah,
put
true.
it right there. I think it goes further. I can't say further, but I think it's not just like comments or stuff like that. There's bullying as well that has been reported by many women across different organizations that have worked with her. Mm-hmm. It's just so in today's work environment around people just aren't going to put up with that shit anymore. Like, it's a toxic work environment. I'm not going to put up with that shit. Like, we've seen it across, since the pandemic began. How many places do you drive past every single day and have signs out that say now hiring, now hiring, now hiring. Yeah. And the reason that is people are going to put up with your bullshit. Like, you're not going to pay me. I'm not going to put up with it. You're going to like bully me to do this. You're not going to pay it. I'm not going to play around. Tessa Blanchard. I mean, you saw the pictures that John put up. $1 million look. Yeah. $1 million look. She looks great. Yep. You know, great look, great wrestling lineage.
Yep.
Her father, Toni Blanchard, her stepdad, Magnum TA. Like, that's pretty damn good lineage right there.
Yeah.
And she's unhireable, dude. Like, she's really unhireable. Nuclear is the word. Like, do you know how hated you have to be nuclear in the wrestling business, bro? Like, it's just never, it's never going to happen for her. And that's a shame, because I really think that a couple years ago, like, let's pretend this never happened.
Yeah.
And let's go back a couple years ago when she was like getting that run in Impact and she was the world champion.
Yeah.
I think that if right then and there she wanted to leave, she could have gone to WWE or AEW at the time. I don't know. But I think that WWE would have given her a massive contract.
Yeah.
Because she was just had done that well. And so it's just a shame all around that she couldn't, you know, keep her shit together and not be an asshole.
Yeah.
That's your, I don't know what's going on with Mike, but that's her own fault, dude. So you could have.
Oh, you're muted now. Weird. Okay. Yeah, what's going on? I'm not doing anything on my end. Yeah, something's going. Do you want to pull it out, plug it back in? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Just talk.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you look at this. I mean, let's deal with the reality. This is Tessa Blanchard. She's gorgeous. She can wrestle. The fans are immediately attracted to her as a human being. You know what I'm saying? So she's got all the tools, and as Aaron mentioned, her lineage, right? So this is a slam dunk of a person to have on your roster. But clearly, as Aaron said, there must be, and I've alluded to, there must be a lot more behind the scenes here that people aren't talking about, and that people in these organizations know and don't want to bring in that element into their locker room and deal with that nonsense. And even Aaron saying bullying, we've seen wrestlers bully other wrestlers. For fuck's sake, I'm sure Hogan and Flair and other people at the top of the pecking order performed a certain level of bullying, a mental bullying or whatever, to kind of keep themselves where they're at. So, you know, but this is a different time. This is a situation now where everything gets put on blast. So if you bring her into your locker room, you might be asking for a crap ton of trouble, and you might alienate some of your wrestlers at a time when people are jumping to another federation. That could be a problem as well. So
yeah, you definitely don't want to split the raw. You don't want an unhappy locker room. That is for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yeah. So, all right, let's where are we at right now? We move on to the next thing. I don't think we have any more Streamlabs or Super Chats. So keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen. Streamlabs and Super Chats as we go on here. All right. What's our next thing, brother?
Just real quick, I want to clarify that I'm not an Ohio State fan, and I'm glad Oregon won. Thank you, everybody, for keeping me updated. Sure. Now we're moving on to Mick Foley and his blistering comments about the WWE, you know, that company where he won a couple world titles and has been around for a long time and is a Hall of Famer and all that good stuff. Foley went on Twitter and posted the video saying WWE is no longer the place for talent to aspire to. Part of it is because AEW is doing a great job of attracting great talent, proven talent, building other talent, creating storylines. And then Foley went on to say, you guys did wonders with me back in the day, but that was a different time. The revered superstar also identified Karrion Kross as a WWE talent who has been damaged by creative, saying, I think younger talent sees the way that developmental characters are cut or left by the wayside, or in the case of Karrion Kross, greatly watered down. And Foley concluded by saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's worth stating that comes from comicbookresource.com, where I got that. But that is the gist of what Mick Foley had to say. So what do you think about this, dude?
I think he's got a right. He's earned the right to make his comments. And I think he's coming from a place of care for the WWE. I don't think he'd waste one word on the company if he didn't care about the company. That's the thing. Sometimes people don't understand criticism. Sometimes is not coming from a place of, I want to destroy this company or destroy this person or destroy this movie. Sometimes criticism is coming from a place of, this needs to do better. They need to do better. They need to wake up and see what's happening here. And I'm coming to you from a place of care for the product. I literally gave you my blood, sweat, tears, and my body to promote your product, to elevate your product, to make money for you. And so I've got a right to say what I need to say. And what I said earlier in the show, he's essentially giving now a megaphone to a lot of the fans who've been saying the same stuff online, on social media, on a number of places, and gives them one person to use as a kind of symbol or front person for this. And he isn't the only one. Booker T also came out, who has been on WWE programming even more recently than Foley, and came out and called out the WWE. I think he said AEW pay-per-view was one of the best pay-per-views he's ever seen. So it's like, okay, so you've got Booker T now coming on, as well as Mick Foley, echoing these sentiments that the WWE needs to wake up, or else they're going to find themselves behind the 8 ball against AEW.
I'm having mic issues again.
I can hear you. You're fine.
Oh, you can hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that Mick Foley, no lies detected. For what Mick Foley said, especially with the crop of talent that has come in. It's got to suck to have Mick Foley say that, because Mick Foley is a guy that is painted with such strong WWE colors. He's a Vince McMahon guy. He was like the most unlikely Vince McMahon guy there ever was.
Yeah.
And he's rightfully calling it out for what it is. And I'm even more surprised that he doubled down on it and was just like, yeah, I'm not taking it back. And not only that Booker T, known company man, backed him up and just said, yeah, dog, we need to get our ass in gear. And I was like, wow, okay. If Booker's saying this now, okay, we need to get some stuff in gear. I mean, let's cut to the chase. Karrion Kross, dominant badass in NXT, comes to the main roster, looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
He may still have the same like wrestling style and function. Someone posted a graphic on Twitter. It was like John Morrison versus Karrion Kross for the Impact title, and it looked like really official and nice. This was like 2 years ago. And then they put the graphic or a screenshot from the match they had on Raw, and it was John Morrison spraying him in the face with like a water bottle. And it was like, this is what they've done, dude. Yeah. And it's just like, it's the perfect storm for AEW. And just like it just keeps getting worse for WWE. And it's so odd to see that because they've been the king for so long.
Yeah.
And it's just going downhill fast, dude.
Right. And by the other side of the coin here, though, Karrion Kross has every right to fight back with some of the booking they're doing with him. And does it take him off television? Possibly. But sometimes, rather than looking like a fool and watching them destroy your brand, destroy your name, and even though they helped you build it in NXT, you've got to have agency. It's really important. And I know you mess with your money, you mess with all those things. That's why if you get into this business, you get a position where you're one of the top dogs in any of these federations, NXT, WWE, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, or Rampage 9, whatever it is, invest your money. Be smart with your money. That gives you leverage to go back and say, you know what? I don't like this. Is stupid. You're fucking up my brand. You're fucking up my look. You're making me look like a weak ass. I don't want any part of this. So a little bit, Karrion Kross should also take some responsibility here for letting it happen to him in that way. You know,
what's he gonna do?
Say I don't want to do the angle. Change the angle. All right, you're off TV. All right,
say we'll get somebody that will, pal.
Great. I've got money. I'm good. Fuck you. I'll sit at home and collect money.
I don't know if he's got the money to do that. I don't know if he's got fuck you money, John.
I don't know. I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. You know, you gotta. I think there has to be this kind of, too much of anything to me, in my opinion. Too much of these companies or owners of these leagues or federations or promotions or sports or whatever, they carry way too much power over the players, and it's bullshit. And it needs to be a 50-50 situation with all the players across the board. And if a player is not comfortable doing something and doesn't see the big picture of what you're doing, either if you can't sell them on it and they legitimately don't want to do it, then it's your responsibility to come up with a better angle that'll work. Because a lot of times these people know better than you, especially if you're older, especially if you haven't done it in a while. They know better than you on how to promote themselves and what to accent about themselves. Now, I don't know Karrion Kross. I never met him. Maybe he's not that smart about this stuff, Aaron, so he just takes it. but other people wouldn't. You don't see Shawn Michaels in shitty angles, do you? I mean, these top stars, the reason the top stars is because they don't get into shitty angles. Even the American Badass he made work, Undertaker. So,
well, Karrion Kross doesn't have the clout that Shawn Michaels has. Like, I'm sure if they said,
wait, he was your top dog at NXT.
But he's not. But NXT's not NXT's not Raw, dude. It's not the same.
I know, and obviously the way they treated Adam Cole, it's not. So if you're going to be part of it, you've got to make them respect you. And if they don't respect you, get the fuck out of there. I don't know. I know I'm crazy about that kind of stuff, but I just think people need to stand up for themselves in certain situations. But I'm not going to do it. It's dumb.
I think there just comes a point where you got to feel comfortable enough to you can do that. Can Roman Reigns do that? Absolutely. If they came to Roman Reigns and said, "We're going to put you in a helmet, pal," he'd say, "Yeah, you're not going to do that." Right. And they would be like, "All right, I guess we're not going to do that." I don't know if Karrion Kross has that kind of pull to do that, because Karrion Kross, as good as he is, and I like Karrion Kross, a lot of people do not. They think he's boring.
Yeah.
I think that he just doesn't have that. He doesn't have that drawing ability yet. Can he get there? Absolutely. Can he make it work? Sure. But he just doesn't have that, John. Like, once he gets there, he can decline or do whatever he wants.
I hear you're absolutely right. I concede that point. He does not have the clout, but this is where it comes to personal stuff, Aaron. This is what I'm getting at. And you won't get this on some of the other wrestling shows. You got to have your own personal makeup about yourself and belief in yourself and love of yourself to understand, hey, if we do this, you're going to undercut everything we built up in NXT. And I've seen you do this with the Ascension. I've seen you do this with Otis and all those guys. I've seen you do it with Heavy Machinery. I've seen you do this with so many people who've come up here. I won't be a part of that. All right. If you can't meet me halfway, if you can't respect what I'm bringing or appreciate what I bring to the table, then what can I tell you? We're at an impasse. Okay, you're sitting at home. Okay, I'm sitting at home. And I'll make a comment on some of these podcasts. I'll tweet out something. You know, I mean, there's just ways here, but it comes down to who you are as a person. And I've seen PAs on sets tell directors what's up. I've seen low-level actors not be intimidated by people who've accomplished so much in the career. You've got to have that certain kind of inner strength. And I think what these companies feed on, no matter what company or federation or competition you're in, they feed on your insecurities. They feed on your low self-esteem, and they manipulate that to put you in situations like this. And that's why you get Karrion Kross being essentially made a fool of by the people who are supposed to promote him and put him over. And it's a shame.
Yeah, it sucks. It just really sucks.
Yeah. A lot of people asking, where's Scarlett? I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know either. I know she had some personal stuff. I don't know if that's still going on, but it's just, it's bad. It's a package deal.
Yeah, it is a package deal. You're right. You're right about that. Ranger Donald says, if you haven't watched the SmackDown After 9/11 doc on the WWE YouTube channel, it's a good but sad quick watch on the behind the scenes of that event. Oh, cool. Okay.
I haven't seen it. I will check it out.
Yeah, we should absolutely say to anybody who's celebrating, to everybody who's, not celebrating, how can I say, on commemorating today, the 20th anniversary of 9/11. We feel you. We also send out our prayers, thoughts of comfort, and love to anybody who is suffering today, who lost someone in there or who was affected greatly by what happened on 9/11 20 years ago. So just saying. And thank you for joining us. You could be watching one of those documentaries, so we appreciate you being with us, over 100 of you who are here. All right, let's see if we got any more, if we got any Streamlabs that have come through. Last Cinema Sailor says, I watched the Flair 30 for 30 and it was great. Choked up at the end. Yeah, absolutely. And I caught several clips from the resurrection of JR and it destroyed me, but very uplifting. Also saw Holly, Eddie, and Benoit destroy that tight end guy because of that angle match. Ha ha ha! Ouch. That TE guy because of that angle. I don't know what that means. Holly, Eddie, and Benoit. I don't remember that.
I'm not sure what that means.
Okay, what's the resurrection of JR? I haven't seen that.
Jake Roberts.
Oh, Jake Roberts. That. Oh, sorry. Yes, I've seen that. That I loved. I thought you meant JR. Good old JR. All right, let's get going. What's next?
Okay, so we're talking about WWE's newest signing. As much as we trashed the company, this is a good gold standard mark here. Sure. WWE has officially signed Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson to WWE's first NIL contract, which means name, image, and likeness. You know that if you're not familiar, the NCAA has allowed student athletes to make money for the first time ever this year, and WWE's taken advantage. Steveson will be able to defend his NCAA national championship at the University of Minnesota. Just so happens a guy named Brock Lesnar went there, and so did Shelton Benjamin. So much so they believe in him so much.
Yeah.
This is according to Mike Coppinger of ESPN, that there will be a remote training facility near the University of Minnesota so that Steveson can learn the nuances of professional wrestling while also wrestling collegiately.
Oof.
He also had the option of maybe turning to MMA, but decided that after maybe some conversations with Brock Lesnar, that he decided to go to WWE instead. So what do you think about WWE signing a 21-year-old heavyweight national wrestling champion to a contract? Sounds quite familiar, don't you think?
Yeah, it does. It does. But what did we just say? Right? He clearly has some clout walking in the situation. He hasn't wrestled 1 second professionally, Aaron, and they're building a gym for him to near his house.
True.
That's the thing. If you've got some kind of inner cachet, companies will respect that more and will bend over backwards because they see potential in you and they see a certain strength of will in you, and you're worth their investment and you're worth listening to. So I think the same thing here. This kid comes out, he's got the strength, he's got the proper amount of respect. He's also got the proper amount of respect for who he is as a person and what he's accomplished. So it makes sense, all the sense of the world, that they're bending over backwards for him, and he is open to the situation. They're letting him wrestle collegiately, which you can get injured at, and also train as a professional wrestler. So this is a smart move by WWE overall. It's good PR. Yeah, I mean, even Seth Rollins tweeted out with that shill tweet of his, and he's in a right position to start a whole new generation of younger fans coming into the WWE through him. You know, a lot of people in the wrestling community kind of look down on pro wrestling. So having their champion, the college champion, come in just like Lesnar did, just like Angle did, it gives even more credibility to WWE. So this is smart on so many levels by them.
Yeah, dude. I mean, why wouldn't you? Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at a picture of this guy. Like, he's massive.
He is.
And you got to think that he's going to be trained by Brock, I would think, sometimes. Yeah. I also think that he might be trained by Kurt Angle. And that would be great. Steveson said in an interview that he's not trying to be the next Kurt Angle. That's not who he wants. That's not who he's trying to be. Kurt Angle was his own guy.
Yeah.
Which is the right thing to say, but there ain't nothing wrong with being the second Kurt Angle or the second Brock Lesnar. If you could be the first Gable Steveson, that's great too.
Yeah.
But to have that amateur background, this is how it helps you. People already know that you're legit. Like, we all know wrestling is kayfabe. It's bullshit. We all know that. Okay. Sorry. But there's still like a suspension of belief. Like, same thing when you go to the movies. There's a suspension of belief. You go see a Marvel movie, Iron Man shoots laser beams out of his hand. It's wild, but it's fun. Right. But you don't believe that it's real. Gable Steveson, even though these are, matches that are predetermined, you believe that he could probably still go out and whoop your ass if he wanted to and tie you in a pretzel and beat you to death. He probably could. So that's huge for somebody that's legit. Same thing when Ronda came in, like people were BS and Ronda because she got knocked out by Holly Holm, even though she could beat the shit out of everyone on the roster. Like, it's legit. You know what I mean? Like, it just brings a level of legitimacy to yourself and to wrestling. So, I mean, if he's available, you got to sign him.
Scary looking dude. Scary.
I would want to mess with him.
Nope. And they signed his brother, apparently his younger brother, to NXT.
Already NXT, yeah.
Yeah, so this could be a Steiner Brothers comparison more accurately than Angle or Lesnar. So that could be very interesting as well. But good business by the WWE. Well, we'll knock them when we can, but we also got to praise them when they do good stuff. This is a smart move by that company for them. We'll see how it turns out, though. All right, let's see if we got any more Streamlabs or Super Chats. Nope. All right, let's move on. What's our next thing here, Aaron, as we power through the last half of the show?
Let's go ahead and bury somebody else. So this article is about Melissa Santos. She is the former ring announcer for Lucha Underground. Beautiful lady. She is the wife of Brian Gage, the Machine, former AEW FTW champion. I don't know how that works. She retweeted a clip, or a Twitter post where somebody was saying that Brian Gage was underutilized. Mm-hmm. And she went on to say, you see, Brian Gage is a superstar. Those people who know him from the Indies, Impact, Lucha Underground, where I met him, know he's a superstar. All you have to do is Google him and watch his matches, including Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. He's a superstar, and he's being misused right now. She went on to further say, there was a question asked, is AEW misusing Brian Gage? He should be on a Brock Lesnar level, ripping through talent with Taz as a mouthpiece. Oof. So then she goes even further on to say, because she got heavily criticized, as she should have, everyone who has an opinion on this, which you're rightfully allowed to do so, I just want to inform you that all Melissa didn't write about in this. Okay. This was Cage. I'm sorry. This is Brian Gage responding. He says, everyone who has an opinion on this, I just wanted to inform you that all Melissa did was she didn't write the statement about being misused. She just posted a posting agreeing with it. Cage also responded with a screenshot and a post with a Will Smith GIF indicating that he also agreed with what she said. So, okay. Yeah. Is Brian Gage being misused in AEW? Can we go back to the conversation that we had previously? You've got CM Punk, you've got Daniel Bryan, you've got Adam Cole, you've got Ruby Soho, you've got Kenny Omega, you've got Cody Rhodes, you've got Malachi Black, you've got Malachi. Did I say Malachi Black? You got him in there. You've got probably, fucking 15 other guys. You've got Ricky Starks, Darby, Sting, all these people. And then maybe about 29 or 30, there's Brian Gage. And that's not a knock on him. You look at Brian Gage, he looks like a fucking masterpiece of a man. He's a giant person, and he can move pretty well in the ring. Is he a draw? I don't think so, because I think although he can do some things, his skill set is quite limited. Yeah. So when you put him in matches against Ricky Starks or people that he should beat, like if you put him in the match against Darby, he should beat Darby handily, and he's not doing that. So if a guy like that isn't seen as legit, then you can't put him over, if you catch my drift here. So I think what ended up happening was they put Brian Gage with Team Taz. Then they got Willie Hobbs to put in Team Taz, and they said, oh, shit, we like Powerhouse Hobbs better. And I think he's the better version of Brian Gage. He's a big guy that can actually wrestle, that has an aura about him that Brian Gage just does not. He does not have the same thing. What do you think about this?
This is interesting. There's a lot of thoughts I have on this, and I'll break them down real quick. One, I think Melissa has every right to defend her husband. She has every right to uplift her husband, promote her husband, defend her husband, go back at people who are not respecting her husband in terms of AEW possibly. And certainly, I don't think she does this without Brian's knowledge. I think Brian has a little bit, and then, of course, Brian tried to clarify a little bit and then put up that Will Smith gif. I respect that. But Melissa was going back at people. She was responding back at people. See, and I think this is where the mistakes or the holes start to show up in the logic, right? If you really believe what you say, you don't have to go back at people. And it's something I learned myself. Once you post something defending someone that you love, there's no need for further explanation. You've said your piece, you've put it out there, you stand by it, and you move on. But her going back and forth with people, a fan responded, hey, to the video clip, hey, this is the wrong kind of attention. She said, ooh, you think this is bad attention? His wife making an opinion on his career that I'm well connected with. So already going back at the fan that I'm way more connected than you are. Tell me what attention you think he needs. I'll wait, right? So already kind of a bitchy response. I don't mean that because she's a woman. I mean male or female. It's kind of a sure. Well, how about this? How about a shitty response a little bit there? But I think she has a right to defend her husband and promote her husband. I got no problem with that. And then another fan said, well, AEW used Cage and they gave him so many chances, but it failed to click with the audience, which is really what it's all about. And said you can't blame AEW. But she said, oh, yes, you can. They control the narrative. You clearly have no idea what you're talking about. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Just because a company can control the narrative does not mean that a wrestler can or cannot get over. Daniel Bryan got over against the WWE's wishes. So this idea that they control the narrative, whether you get over or not, It's bullshit. Fans instinctively respond to wrestlers. You could put the worst wrestler in the greatest storyline and it won't work. You could put a great wrestler in a shitty storyline and it'll work. So the fans have to connect to you at some instinctual, primal, organic level. And if they don't, no matter what they do with you, you're not going to get over. It's the same thing in Hollywood. They tried so hard to make Josh Lucas a thing, Eric Bana a thing, Patrick Dempsey a thing. They tried so hard to make so many leading men and some leading women a thing, and they never got over. And the reason is because they're missing that one thing that connects in mass. It doesn't mean that Brian Gage doesn't have fans. He clearly does. And she's right to speak about how great he was in these lower federations. Absolutely. But, you could be great Division III and not transfer over to the NFL. You could be shitty in Division III or okay and transfer over to the NFL. You just don't know. It's about that kind of inner thing, and fans know it when they see it. So if he's not over, it's got nothing to do with AEW or the way he's being pushed. It's because there's something about his matches and about his performances and about his look, about his energy that doesn't respond that people don't respond to on a large scale. But again, I respect Melissa defending her husband. She loves him. She wants him to be more successful. And her trying to find blame with everybody else, I guess that's a tact that you can use. I don't think it's going to yield the results she expects, though.
Yeah, the Team Taz thing didn't do anybody any favors because they've been hot and cold on Team Taz.
Right. I don't like Team Taz, but I think it's shit.
Yeah. I like Taz.
I like Taz. I don't like Team Taz.
Here's the thing about Team Taz, though. I like Taz.
Yeah.
I like Ricky Starks, and I really like Powerhouse Hobbs. And they just can't figure out how to mesh it together and make them menacing because they keep losing. Like, it's just, I don't get it. But it was never going to work. And then they made Brian Gage the good guy, which it shouldn't have happened. He should have turned on Ricky Starks, and Ricky Starks should have been the break out of that. But they didn't want to break Ricky Starks away because he's like the best part of Team Taz because he can talk and work, and he's great. So it was a no-win situation for Brian Gage.
Yeah. I saw something here. Somebody giving you some love. Clarissa saying, wow, I didn't think about that. Hobbs is pretty much a better version of Cage. So
he really is. And the thing about Willie Hobbs that I really like is that first of all, he's young. Mm-hmm. He looks like a brick house.
Yeah.
He's got facials that are really good. Like, he could be menacing, or he could be a great baby face if you want to turn him. I think he's got like all the tools.
Yeah.
That's another guy that AEW found that's a real diamond in the rough. If they refine it a little more, give him some better wins on television. He's a guy he could be your top heel. He could be your top babyface if you want him to be.
Yeah. And look, the wrestling history is littered. The landscape is littered with wrestlers that didn't get over in a certain promotion and then go to another promotion and really get over. So maybe this isn't the move for him. I mean, ironically, he could go to the WWE and possibly become something with his size. Vince loves big guys. Give him a chance. See what happens. I don't know. Him and Lesnar could be an interesting matchup. Him and Lashley, him and Big E could be interesting. Big guys slamming into each other. Vince loves this shit. So could be the place for him. But
you got to pass a drug test. Not gonna happen, bro. Not gonna happen.
I'm not touching that. I don't know anything about that, so I'm not saying anything about that. I don't want Melissa coming after me. But about Figs 155 says something. And Chris Masters is more charismatic. Really, he's doing good in NWA, right? NWA. So this is the difference here. It's lower than WWE, lower than in essence AEW. So to me, you can be good sometimes in the lower divisions, and that's okay. But people always want to aspire to the top, and I get it. But sometimes you're not meant to be there, and maybe becoming happy with where you're at is the key to establishing true success. Doesn't work for everybody, but
I happen to think that Chris Masters, or Chris Adonis as he's known in NWA, I think he was always charismatic. I always liked watching him in WWE when he did that Master Lock challenge. I thought that was really entertaining. And I think he just got screwed, honestly, because like if you listen to that CM Punk promo where he talks about Chris Masters like improving, and then they just cut his ass and really never gave him a second shot. It's a real shame because the dude can really do some stuff.
He brought that out against Laurinaitis and Triple H, man. I thought that was one of those realest moments when he was doing his promo. I thought these motherfuckers are really bad at it.
For sure.
Javier Reyes 405 says people seem to like Ricky Starks over Brian Gage out of Team Taz. To me, Cage is kind of boring, and I find Starks more interesting and entertaining. There you go. That's it in a nutshell. And look, again, Melissa's got every right. But you got to look at the land. You got to look at the fans. If the fans aren't getting over, they aren't clamoring for Brian Gage. It ain't about it. And what happens if they put him in a great fucking angle and he blows it? What does Melissa say then? In the end, she'll blame AEW again. She'll find something so she doesn't have to blame her husband. So, but I respect that. It's a relationship. You got to ride her. He's got a great ride or die if she's willing to put herself out there like this to take some of the criticism for doing it. So I got no problem with that. Respect to Melissa Santos.
What's funny about it is, okay, so Brian Gage had a really good match against Hangman Page not too long ago. Did anybody come out of that saying, wow, Brian Gage is really good? I think people said, man, that Hangman, he's really good. And then when they had the tag match, him and Starks against Darby Allin and Sting, nobody was talking about Brian Gage. I mean, it was a great cinematic match for what it was, but nobody came out of that talking about Brian Gage. We're talking about Sting. We're talking about Darby. So it's
true.
Sorry.
This is possible here. Christian Ramos saying Cage is beefing with Team Taz. Now Punk is beefing with Team Taz. So maybe Cage teams up with Punk for the storyline. Maybe if they give him that storyline and he still doesn't get over, forget it. He's not getting over with him. He's not getting over.
Christian Ramos also says yeah, that's a good one.
So,
true story.
There you go. Yeah, it happens. It happens. It's the game, man. With any performance situation. All right, where are we at? Jonathan Coachman. Let me take this one.
Yeah,
we got one more. Do we have any more Streamlabs that have come through? No Streamlabs. Ladies and gentlemen, we got about 10, 15 minutes left of the show. Send in some Streamlabs. All right, this is the last, because the first block went so long. I didn't want to lose this fucking topic. God damn it, I'm sorry, my mouth. I'm talking too fast. All right, Jonathan Coachman was on a podcast, the ad-free shows, and he was talking about what went wrong with WWE. And he essentially blamed Corey Graves not wanting a 3-man booth for the reason his second stint in WWE didn't work out. And also because he had signed a contract to do some golf sportscasts, and he wanted to really adhere to that contract. He signed it before he went back to the WWE. So, and they were cool with it to let him go do these things. And then that's why you saw more of what's her name again? Renee. We saw Renee Young kind of step in for Coach when he was off doing these golf sportscasts. And that's what ended up moving Renee into that position. And eventually Renee took all the heat, and he defended Renee. He said Renee shouldn't have gotten the heat. It was wrong. They put her in the wrong position. It just wasn't a good situation. Fans need to be more lenient in those. And I kind of took that to heart because I was one of those people that was a little critical of Renee in that position, only because I felt she should be leading, not on the side in the 3-man booth. But yeah, in this, so he just says overall, he says, we worked with Corey. He says, when I used to work with King and Joe, we would actually work together and they would give me lines to say. You've seen some of the great stuff, like when Kane's fire would hit and I would fall over backwards. We all worked on that. Corey just didn't want to do that. He just didn't want me there. You could tell by the things he would say. There was certainly a complete lack of respect for me being a veteran, for me having the time at ESPN. I certainly never walked in and said, I'm taking this over. This is my space. I never did that. You could ask anybody. So every single week, it just got more and more difficult to work with him. And it was clear he wanted Renee in this position because they're very, very good friends. And he said, so I got a call after the 5th Monday that I was there, and I could tell it was coming because I could just feel that Vince wasn't happy with me missing days. Understand, in 10 years from 99 to 2008, do you know how many Monday Night Raws I missed in 10 years? 1. And that was for my honeymoon. That was it. And I even went to Raw the Monday after I got married. I didn't even miss that one, so I could then take a 10-day honeymoon. So I was as dedicated as anybody that's ever been. And I can promise you that. So to miss 5 times in a matter of 6 or 7 months, they started acting like I sprung it on them. Like, oh, God, you're not dedicated to us. When I said, I literally talked to you about this the other day. You called me. You said this is very important to us, too. So it completely changed from that January until I don't even remember when they took me off, August or September. So at the end of the day, this feels like more WWE business. They switched the narrative around after they said that a certain thing was okay. Now, all of a sudden, to fit their overall business and what they wanted to do, they got Coach out. Do you believe Coach's words, or do you think that there's more going on here, that it wasn't about Corey or Renee or Vince? It was more that they felt Coach was kind of feeling himself a little bit because he's coming from ESPN, or what? What do you think happened here?
I like Jonathan Coachman a lot.
Yeah.
The stuff that he did with The Rock back in the day,
God.
Unbelievable.
Gold.
Stuff that he did with Vince, unbelievable. Here's the deal. Mm-hmm. Corey Graves is a great commentator. Yes. I will give that to him. Jonathan Coachman is a better commentator. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Jonathan Coachman comes from sports, and Jonathan Coachman comes, came from ESPN later. He was WWE first and ESPN later. Right. But if that doesn't tell you that Jonathan Coachman has a lot of ability to do his job, not only is a veteran of WWE, but he also worked for ESPN and was on their flagship program, Sports Center, a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand Corey Graves here. I'll go with the assumption that the coach is telling the truth, because he seems like, why would you lie about that?
Yeah.
Corey Graves is just an asshole. And he's the one. Okay, if that's the case, then he's the one that put Renee in the bad spot.
Yeah.
And Renee should not have been doing color. Renee should have been the Michael Cole, as we've all said. And it's stupid. Like, how could you not treat Jonathan Coachman with respect?
Yeah.
He did it before you. Like, is this a thing now? Like, back in the day in the wrestling business, when you would come in to a territory, or you would come in for a show and you're a wrestler that hadn't been there before or something, you would shake everybody's hand.
Yeah.
The veterans, the referees, everybody, you would shake their hands as a sign of respect.
Yeah.
I don't understand this anymore. Like, Corey Graves has gotten away with so much that it's kind of unbelievable. I know that he's good. I understand that he's great. I would even say that he's great. He's done great for WWE since, they split up JR and King and all that kind of stuff. He's done quite well.
Right.
But to not respect Jonathan Coachman for all that he's done is just bullshit. And I don't like it. It doesn't make me want to be a Corey Graves fan anymore. Like, it's absurd.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I've heard from the number of people and reading the blogs and stuff like that. You see people commenting on these kind of a jerk behind the scenes, kind of a pompous ass about himself. And, you've seen that. You see sometimes young guys come in and they really want to kind of establish themselves. And certainly Corey, having that injury that knocked him out of being being a professional wrestler, which really kind of hurt him overall, you understand that he wants to be successful in another arena. And so if he's going to go into commentating, he wants to be the best. Well, I think he's fucking great at what he does. I really do. I think he's great at hyping things up. I think he's way better than Bad News, whatever is that. Barrett. I think he's much better than Barrett. Maybe one of the best that have ever done it for the WWE. Like Aaron said, he's good. I give him his flowers. That being said, some motherfuckers can be quite nefarious behind the scenes, quite manipulative behind the scenes, have a sociopathic streak within them that it's all about them. They don't care about the feelings of anybody else, especially in the entertainment business. Those people exist, and they give you all the smiles. They'll give you all the nice comments that you want when you interview them. But behind the scenes, they feel threatened all the time. They're worried about their position all the time. And when they bring old people in who were already successful at what they did, they feel threatened by that, right? We hear it all the time. Oh, why are you bringing in The Rock? I've been wrestling for 5 years. I should be the top spot at WrestleMania. You've seen it all the time. It's an age-old thing in the pro wrestling business. So it's no surprise to me that he pulled this shit on Coach. It's unfortunate, and it's sad to read that he pulled this shit on Coach. And don't rule it out of your mind that he didn't purposely put Renee in this position to fuck over Renee coming in and possibly taking a certain spot from him. In his mind, she's no longer with the company. So it's like some people can be quite manipulative in the things that they do. Now, I'm not saying Corey Graves did this, but I'm also not ruling it out as a possibility, because this is a guy who's desperate to hold on to what he's got, because what has he got if he doesn't have this? So it's like, this is the kind of thing at the end of the day. He's certainly a lifer and he loves this business, but he could be a real manipulative bastard behind the scenes. And that could be the reason why this all went down the way it does. And I feel, Coach, sometimes people just don't connect to you or don't like you or don't want to like you. And for whatever reason, they've got a bone to pick against you, and they will never come to your side. For some reason, you just kind of rub them the wrong way with who you are as a person or your personality or whatever, and they just don't want to help you. And they make it very, very clear that they don't want to do anything you suggest and purposely short circuit everything you try to do. It's a shame, but it happens. I certainly have a couple of people in my life who've treated me that way, and I still can't understand why they feel this way. So it's just the way it goes.
It's unfortunate. It really is just, I mean, I don't know how you don't respect Jonathan Coachman. Mm-hmm. Like, even going back and looking at one of those old Rock promos and just how the coach would The Rock had him dance to Charleston. Yeah. And it's just, God damn, it's so funny. Like, I I don't get it.
The pie stuff is brilliant.
And does Corey Graves, like, what does he have if he doesn't have this? He still has Carmella, that son of a bitch.
Yeah, for now. But relationships are always can be fleeting, man. You never know.
Oh, God, so, yeah. I'm married. Don't put that on me.
It's a different situation, I think, that you're in, my man. All right. Well, I think that's everything. So we wish Coach the best. I like Coach. I think he's great. On ESPN, I think him saying he wanted to do all this stuff on ESPN, I was like, slow it down, son. You were good for what you did. You're not at that level in my mind, and you never will be. I don't think he has that extra thing that to be like one of the best guys in sports. I think he's good. I don't think he's up there with like the fucking Dan Patricks and the Colin Cowherds or whoever you want to name that are great commentators or callers of games. The Joe Bucks.
Colin Cowherd.
I'm just that bank account. Let's see Coach start a show on Fox Sports. Let's see if he can match what Colin Cowherd does. I'll be happy to see if that could happen.
No denying that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's get to that section of the show now, Aaron. We got ourselves a match coming up on Tuesday. You and I, a wrestling trivia match with a little bit of wrestling films cycled into there. I agreed to the contract. I had stipulations in the contract. Paul Denuzzi will tell you I had stipulations in the contract, and they met my needs. Brad Gilmore texted me personally on Friday night to say thank you for signing the contract. So I am coming all the way down to FCL. Do you guys play in a parking lot? Where do you all play this in this crap league? I'm coming down to be a part of this league to take you on. What do you got to say? Oh, we're going to do this? Let's do this.
Big man, let me tell you something. You want to talk about we're minor league. I understand that you're John Rocha. You are the outlaw. You are on the Mount Rushmore of Schmodown competitors.
Put it.
One of the best ever, if not the best.
Thank you.
Documentaries. World championships, world tag team championships, all the belts, almost. All the records, not quite. I'm here to tell you, man, I love movies. You love movies. It's obvious. I've not done well in the FCL. That's obvious. I think I've done fine, I should say. I haven't done great. But I'm here to tell you, it's a different ball game. This isn't movies. This is 29 years of knowledge. And I'm here to tell you, big man, that when it comes down to it, you're in my house. You're going against me in my house. I'm running out of stuff to say. I'm not good at promos. Okay, so here's the deal, pal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's the deal. You're coming to my world, okay? This isn't your world. You might think it is because, I don't know, you've watched wrestling here or there, or you like the Macho Man Randy Savage or something. You might know Adrian Adonis's name. You were there for Buddy Rogers' first world title win. It doesn't matter because when it comes down to it, sir.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, you cannot win. You know in your heart of hearts, you cannot win. You could bring all of your hats, all of your masks, all of your belts, all of your records, all of your anger, and you can bring it to FCL 25. And that's great because at the end of the match, I'm going to take it from you. And I will put my name on Mount Rushmore.
Let me tell you something right now about the Outlaw. I have faced tougher men than you. I have faced tougher odds than you and have come out on top. And I've got 4 straps that I've worn on my shoulders over the years to prove that. And we're going live. And there's nothing I do better than live matches. There's nowhere where you see the Outlaw shine more than in live matches. You remove those free-for-alls, which don't really count to me as overall live matches. You remove those free-for-alls, I've only ever lost once in a live match, and that was in sudden death, or twice, and that was in sudden death. So that tells you the kind of preparation and attention that I bring 2 matches. And I'm going to bring the same kind of attention and preparation to this match. That's for damn sure. You know, I like that you talk a big game, but once the lights are on and they close that cell, we're in the cage, you and I, and the only way out is up and over or through the damn door. And the thing is, I might throw you through the walls and maybe you'll land on the ground, but my feet are going to touch first. And what's left of you, I'll drag home and bring to your wife. That's for goddamn sure. And in case you forgot who the hell you're playing, let me remind you.
He is the reigning, defending, undisputed movie trivia showdown champion of the world, the Outlaw, from best in to best in, destined for greatness, he's a champion. A round of applause, now bow down to the boss and make way for the rise of the outlaw. Blazing the trail with the Latin fire deep in his core, keeping it burning cause you know he's gonna be coming for more. So get ready, a war path has begun against the man who has defied all laws. Now wears the #1 headband. The gunslinger of the showdown, step under the lights, you know it's gonna be a throwdown. Riding high, got the horseman by your side, sight set on anybody who is gunning for the prize. All the belts, all the records, ain't nobody here is safe, so best get out of the way. He's gonna put you in your place, and I think it's safe to say, save the things for his return, cause it's about to get great. Come on, say it with me. Can't tell. Can't tell. Can't tell. The champ is here.
You get it? Do you get it? That's right.
Hey, can you on stream? I mean, all BS aside, can you bring your current Schmodown title belt on the screen real quick?
Oh,
it doesn't exist.
What's that fake belt you're holding right now?
Oh, you mean the Intercontinental Championship?
Oh my God, you didn't even win that.
First made by Reggie Parks. This Intercontinental Championship?
You think those kids are asking Reggie Parks questions? You're out of your mind. You're out of your
I mean, they might be. I don't know. But I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really interesting. I hope everybody tunes into it. I don't have a hype video like that. Maybe I should. I don't know. That's pretty cool.
You got to have some years in the league and win titles. I agree.
They won't let me in. God damn it, they won't let me in. I tried.
Where's Haskell? As Haskell said, I think you put it, live Tuesday, Schmodown on the Schmodown Twitch channel, 6 p.m. ET, 3 p.m. PT. We're doing it live. Aaron Turner and I going at Strong Style Explodes, and we'll see if we implode by the end of the match. But it's going to be a lot of pro wrestling trivia and wrestlers in films trivia. So that's going to be a lot of fun for sure. So don't miss out on it. All right, we got to get out of here. You guys get on with your day. This has been an extra long episode. We got to get out of here. Ohio State lost to Oregon, so shout out to them. Shout out to Oregon.
Shout out to them for losing.
Good stuff. All right, we're out of here. Take care of yourselves. Aaron, thanks again, dude. Another fun show. Can't wait to see you on Tuesday. Where can they find you? Anything got going on, my man?
You can find me whooping your ass on Tuesday. You can find me on Twitter at only Aaron Turner. I would like to thank all of my new Twitter friends for bringing me into your community. You know who you are. Excited to be there. Rocha, I told you about this. I'm so excited to be a part of this community. It's unbelievable.
I qualify, for God's sake?
I don't know if you're invited to the barbecue, but
fucked up, man. Go ahead.
But after missing Spike Lee movies, I don't know if I am either. So we'll see how that goes. But so Tuesday, please check us out. It's going to be great. Schmodown Twitch. You can check out my FCL match from this past weekend with Nauthet Million. Went down to the last question. Really good matchup. Nice. And I think you'll be impressed.
There you go. Well, you can always find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram, as you see down below there, but also on Twitch, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch, all one word. Subscribe or follow me there. And also subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button. We crossed 18,000 subscribers. So thank you very, very much. We crossed that yesterday. So let's keep going, marching towards 19, marching towards 20. That's what we do. That's how we do things here. So please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't yet. And also, if you want to support the show in a financial way or support the channel in a financial way, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/John Rocha. See all the multiple tiers you can donate at to help the show and help the channel. All right. Much love to you all. Take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll see you Tuesday. for a special FCL matchup. It's happening. There it is, Tuesday, FCL 25. Me versus Turner Wrestling Exhibition match. And then Gallego and Campbell going at it in the undercard as well. So go and enjoy that there. And we'll see you next time on another brand new live episode of Strong Style.